Is that it?
I think so.
All right, let me adjust this settings real quick.
Okay. I'm trying to get the questions from people who are working.
Okay.
That wanted to ask questions.
Let's take this up a little bit.
Okay.
Think that's fine like that?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're too bright. Is your forehead blown out?
I think it's okay. It's my sheen.
All right, what do we do? Just wait here?
I guess. I don't really know exactly how this
works.
Right. Okay. We've never been live before on here, so we're supposed to look up there, I think. Okay.
Work with us, guys. This is our first live on YouTube, so yeah. Anyway, so welcome back to my channel.
Welcome to my channel.
Welcome back to my channel. There's Mom. There's one.
Oh.
At least Mom's in here.
Good afternoon.
Welcome back to my channel where I talk about business, finance, real estate investing, and more. We wanted to do this live. I'm here with my wife, Rhianna Ferial. Her name's really Rhianna Scholler, like mine, but on her YouTube, it's Rhianna Ferial, where she talks about nursing and CRNA school and just her a day in the life. But she has a lot of people that ask questions to me through her, and I have a lot of people asking me questions. So we figured we just do a live Q&A and talk with you guys live right here in person and answer your questions as we go.
I'm nervous.
You're nervous?
Yeah.
Are your hands sweaty?
No.
See you too clear. You're doing a great job. Thanks. Can you guys hear us okay? That's the other thing. Like, is the audio okay? Let's get some feedback on that before we get into these questions.
While we're waiting for the feedback, I just put B down for a nap, so hopefully she naps.
He's behind me.
Oh, he needs a nap too. Hopefully she naps through this live, and if she doesn't, then you'll see some commotion, but we'll work through it.
It'll definitely be tricky because she can't be on camera. Did you say that?
No, I didn't say that.
So our foster daughter can't be on camera. So if she wakes up, I don't know what we're gonna do. So just work with us here. All right, I'm just gonna start with some of my questions. Actually, we'll start with one of yours.
And you guys can ask questions on here too.
Yeah, that was the whole point of this, for you guys to ask questions in the live feed, and then we give feedback and discuss through here.
Okay, so should I just go in order?
How is
this is a good one.
We already got one.
Oh, good.
How is foster going for you guys so far? Great.
Yeah, we have had a really good experience so far with the foster care system, and our social workers have been awesome. Our state workers have been awesome. And obviously our foster daughter is amazing. We can't even put into words how amazing she is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're biased, but she's literally the best baby in the world. And we fell in love in what, 25 minutes?
Yeah. I think she's technically a toddler now.
Oh, nice. Well, she's growing up too fast. I'm gonna call her my baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is definitely going great. Okay, so I think that answers that question. So we'll answer another one of yours.
Okay. This is for you. Is Rhianna constantly studying, and how has CRNA school affected your relationship?
You know, surprisingly, yes, you do study a lot, especially a lot compared to what I would want to study, because I would want to study approximately 0. But you do study quite a bit, but you're pretty efficient at it. If you've been following her channel, or if you know her, you know she's super smart when it comes to books.
Thank you. Hey.
She's super smart, but seriously, she's super smart. So, you know, she just reads it and then boom, it's in her mind forever. And fortunate for her, because I am quite the opposite. I have to read the same page 27 times before I understand it. And you seem to be able to just read through a book, apply it, go take the test, and ace it. So
that's not exactly what I do, but that's really
it seems that way from the outside looking in. I'm not saying you don't work hard, because everybody knows that's a lie. You definitely work hard, and you study a lot, and school is rigorous, but you make it look easier than most.
Thank you. You make business look easier than most, because I can't do that.
Thank you.
How is the quarantine going for you guys?
Probably better for you than it is for me. Rhianna's like quarantine life is naps and snacks.
I don't really mind it that much, because I have been going what you have too, but I can stay home more than he can. So if we're let's just spend the whole day at home, he gets bored within a certain amount of time and wants to do something, or he just starts working. It's really hard for him to not work for a day, but I can put everything away for a day and just do family time. So I've just been hanging out with B and John, and it's just been really actually nice.
And for me, it's been nice because of the time we get to spend together. I mean, that's our ultimate goal, is spend as much time together as possible without getting over the border to where we want to kill each other. But for me, it's like hard for me to sit in the house all the time. So I've gone to the office maybe 2 or 3 times, even during the quarantine. Don't worry, nobody's there. But I just go in there sometimes just to have our Zoom meetings for our office staff. And I just feel like I need to be in the office or be out somewhere. So it is a little bit more difficult than me because I'm always on the move, but it's going well.
Yeah, I think it's good. We've been, so where we live, we're allowed to still go for hikes as long as it's not a busy trail and everybody's still 6 feet apart. So we've been going for hikes like almost every day or every other day when it's not raining, and the trails have been dead. So it's been really nice.
Absolutely. Like mom, like my son. Like mom, like son. That's my mom talking
from
there.
Australia.
Oh, someone's from Australia.
We want to go to Australia so bad, and we were hoping that goes summer, but obviously I don't think we're going to be able to travel this summer.
We actually had a trip booked close by to New Zealand, and we changed that because we got the foster daughter. So we had to end up changing that trip, and we went to Puerto Rico instead.
Yeah, because they wouldn't let her go that far away. So.
But Australia is on the list. It will definitely happen as long as one day we're allowed to leave our homes.
Yes.
So let's go with another one of your questions.
How much money did you start your business with? They didn't specify what business, so this is kind of a hard question.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with
your moving company.
We'll start with the first business I ever had was a moving company, and I actually started that with about $6,000 or so, and that was enough to buy the truck. So I bought the box truck, and that's really the only startup money I needed at the time. All I needed was a truck, and then the rest was just time. And I didn't have a lot of money for advertising or employees. In fact, I did most of the delivering. It was actually delivering how it started off, not moving. I won't go into the whole thing here, but I was just delivering furniture, mattresses, couches, whatever, for large department stores like Mattress Warehouse, Pier 1 Imports, Dick's Sporting Goods with their equipment. That's how it started. And I would do a lot of those deliveries myself to save overhead. And she can attest to this. I actually slept in my box truck in the very beginning of my company because I didn't want to spend the money to drive the truck all the way back home, about 30 minutes away where I was living at the time, and then back again. So I would actually sleep in the back of the box truck to save money. So that's a fun fact for you guys.
And we'd also sleep in the back of the box truck when we went out.
Yeah, we did do that as well.
It was the box truck motel.
Right. All right.
I just wanted to add to that your moving company kind of like started you with everything else. So it was really cool. Definitely.
It definitely taught me so much. I had the moving company, I think, for almost 8 or 9 years. I ended up selling that. And it taught me so much, through good things and bad things. I did a lot of things wrong, a lot of things I wish I would have done differently. But I implement those now in my current businesses, so I'm thankful for those things that I have done wrong.
And if it tells you like how long ago this was, we used to advertise on Craigslist because there was no money for ads, and so he would advertise on Craigslist. There wasn't like the Facebook Marketplace yet then or anything, but you got a lot of business from Craigslist.
Yeah, it was actually when Craigslist was still popular, and so I was one of the only moving companies on there. So I would post an ad daily or every other day. Need something moved, need something delivered, and say something like that with a paragraph, and people will reach out. All right, we have another one.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find where we were. I love learning about when you share personal finance tips. Did either of or both of you grow up with seeing your parents model how to live frugally but not feel deprived?
Oh man, my mom's in here.
Want me to answer first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay, so I actually grew up with just my mom and my brother and my sister, and it's been like a process to get to where we are today. And my mom always had more than one job. She worked a lot to try and keep us where we wanted to be and everything like that. So she modeled living frugally because some ways I can attest to that. She always did her own nails. Like I never saw my mom get manicure or pedicure when I was growing up. And I never thought that was a normal thing until I realized people did it when I was older. So we had like a nail bin and we would do manicures and pedicures, me, my mom, and my sister on the weekends and stuff. And that's how I thought you did your nails. I didn't even know about going to get your nails done. And that saves a ton of money because now I do that now. And my mom never was like at the hairdresser all the time. She didn't wear a ton of makeup because she's naturally beautiful. But
points with the mom.
And she always cooked at home. If we ate out, it was a very special occasion. So I just feel like that I didn't know it at the time, but she was pretty frugal.
And me growing up, I would say growing up, no, I did not have a lot of influence from my parents as far as frugality or business acumen or anything like that. It's something that I learned on my own, something I became passionate about very early in life. I was not good at school. I was not good with authority, so I knew that I needed to probably work for myself. And actually, it's probably looking back, one of my biggest drives was being the boss of myself, because I did not want to be under somebody else's control. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. My wife does that with her bosses at her job, but she works fine in that environment, whereas I do not. I just think that that's a huge difference between entrepreneurs and employees. Again, nothing wrong with either one of those. It's just a personality preference. My mom now owns businesses, and she's become more frugal, and she's learning to invest and save her money. It's something that she's learned her on her own, and I'm actually helping her with it now, and she's doing great at it. My dad's still not so much. He does have some retirement savings, I think, but never finance and business and all that has never been a background of his, and the rest of my family as well. I think my granddad maybe, but we've never really had that discussion. But really no family influence on that part of that until later in life.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like John was the biggest influence for me on like budgeting and frugality and all that, because I always understood how to save money and not spend it, but I didn't really understand how to like grow it. So didn't know that until I met you.
Yeah, you weren't. I wouldn't say you were terrible. You just didn't know how. You didn't have the direction. And you were a quick learner, but a stubborn learner at first. So she didn't understand it. She didn't understand why we would save her money or why we would need this money later. But once I explained it to you, because you're a quick learner and you understand things, you started applying it quickly. And I think that that's when we really started taking off financially, and our savings is when we started working together as a team. And just real quick on that, like if you have a significant other, I think that, I'm just going to say this, I think that you absolutely have to be on the same page financially in order to make it work. Maybe not, but I think it'd be like 1 out of 10 that works without being on the same page there. If you guys are hiding money from each other, don't have the same date in mind for retirement, somebody's a big spender and somebody's a big saver, unless you both have humongous incomes and you can do your own independence there, and I'm talking about really big incomes, maybe it would work, but I just think that you should be on the same page.
I always think it's like strange, not like I'm judging them, but I always thought it was weird when people post like that they ordered a bunch of stuff or went shopping and then like hide their receipts and hide their boxes and stuff, because we're like very open financially. So I feel like that's just a cause of tension that you don't really need if you just be open with each other.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine like having secret accounts and stuff like that, but everybody's different.
Yeah,
so
some people operate fine like that, and if you do, good for you.
Good for you. All right, is there another question on here?
Do you guys live in an apartment because you don't plan to live where you are for a long time?
That's like a loaded question in all different ways.
I'll tell you why we live in an apartment. Because we live in student housing through my CRNA program. So the hospital has housing like all over the city, and we live in like housing that's discounted because I pay so much tuition every year. So we do still pay rent, but it's just less than what you pay if you lived in a normal apartment.
Yeah, I'd say we've always been frugal about where we live and been strategic. I mean, we had roommates 2 years into our marriage.
Yeah, we had roommates until we started traveling.
So I don't suggest that for everybody, but it worked for us. The roommate we had at the time was never home and paid a third of the rent.
Yeah.
So we just always save money that way. When we leave here, it's looking like, unless we do another travel assignment or something like that, but it's looking like when we leave here, it'll be the first time that we pay a substantial amount of money to live somewhere, and we'll be completely responsible for that payment, whether that's a mortgage payment or rent. And we have no idea right now. Just honestly, we have no idea.
I did get a question that said, where do you plan to live once you graduate? And we don't know, but we'll let you guys know as soon as we figure it out.
Yeah, that's I probably need to do a whole nother video just on that, because that has been a whirlwind there trying to figure out. We real quick, we had a flip house that keeps falling out of contract. It's right up the road from us, and it's right across from the dog park. It's an older home, not something that we would pick for ourselves. But if we put probably $30,000 into it, it'd be a really, really nice home. And so we actually were doing all of the stuff that we wanted in there. We put a whole list together. We put that list together, and then the next day it went back into contract with a new buyer. So that looks like that's off the table right now. So to answer that question, we have no idea.
And I haven't taken a job yet, just to answer that question while we're already on the topic of where we're going to live. You might want to read this question.
Okay.
My 403B doesn't offer certain Vanguard index funds that I want to use for retirement. The expense ratios are 0.5 to 1% for a lot of the funds. Does my employer match make it worth staying with my 403B?
Yeah, so again, I'm not a financial advisor, so I have to be careful with the advice I give out. But if I am in a person of your position's shoes, I'm always going to take the match first because that is free money. So here's how I do it. Yes, some of your funds that are offered through your employer are not great. They're usually very limited. So sometimes you don't even have access to any type of Vanguard funds. So here's what I would do if you want a better selection of funds to invest in. I would invest up into the employer match first because that's free money. And then you can open a separate IRA account with a brokerage like Vanguard to give you access to more funds. Then you can max that up to $6,000 if you're single, or $12,000 if you guys are married, as long as you make at least that amount of income per year. And then you can go back to the 403B again, because remember, through your 403B, it's up to $19,000, $19,500 this year is your match, where an IRA is only $6,000. So real quick, match the free money, move over to the Vanguard where you have better funds options, max out that $6,000, move back to the 403 and max that out. But then I would implement the Roth in your IRA and not the traditional. And I can do I'll just do a traditional versus Roth IRA video in the next coming weeks.
Okay, good. Then I won't answer, because I had some people ask that too. So.
The IRA versus traditional.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Roth versus traditional. I personally love the Roth IRA. I think that's a joke from when we met.
Yeah.
Probably Red Robin.
Your mom said, do you, Rhianna, feel safe at work? Because I'm a nurse, obviously, and I work in the COVID designated ICU, if you don't know. So that is why she's probably asking me that question. So I feel as safe as I can at work, if that makes sense. I feel like our hospital is doing a good job, like briefing us and updating guidelines with the CDC and following all the recommendations. We are reusing N95 masks, so we don't have enough to get new ones every day. We're reusing them, and we need to request new ones from ID. So that is one thing that I think I would feel the least safe about, is that we don't get a new N95 mask every day, but I don't think anybody is at this point. We have enough PPE, goggles, and all that stuff, so we haven't been running out of PPE or anything. And still, when I go in a COVID patient's room, I obviously still feel nervous, because I know just everything. I know how contagious it is. I know how sick people are getting. My biggest thing is I don't want to bring it home to John and B. That's what I feel the most nervous about. Is I feel like when I leave work and like decontaminating is when I'm the most careful. Absolutely.
So Ashley said they offer a Roth 403B too. Then outstanding for you, because I think that means you can do $19,500 in a Roth, where a lot of people are limited to $6,000 a year, and that's you can grow your retirement account quite quickly through the Roth that way. And again, I don't know if I said this, but the Roth is when you've already paid taxes on it, and a traditional is when you want to wait to pay taxes later in life. Me, I want them out of the way, done, and give me all that money later in life, tax-free. I don't have to worry about it. Do you want me to do one of my questions now?
No,
Since this is
my
I thought this was my channel.
I thought this was my channel.
I know that what's mine is yours. So, Leah Dorchinez said, "Where would you all like to settle down, as in the long term?"
Oh God.
We kind of just answered that. No idea. Like, if we had to pick anywhere and nothing else was to be considered, it'd be the West Coast or Maui or something like that. Somewhere where it's always warm. It doesn't have to be like 90 degrees all the time. I hate that. But somewhere always
the beach every day.
Yeah, it's got to be the beach. I think that's why we like California so much, because 1 hour one way or 30 minutes one way, you got the beach, and an hour the other way, you got something like Yosemite.
Yeah.
And that's the best of both worlds to me. And that's why I like that area so much. But there's a lot to consider out there. You know, you need a $1.5 million to buy a house and flip it, where here you can do that with 50 grand. So there's so much to consider there. My partners are here, my businesses are here. Your work for right now is here. The foster baby right now. So it is a lot going on. I think I went too far into that question. It's probably because we're going crazy about it.
Yeah, we talk about it like every day.
Hey, real quick, it says 15 and you guys are watching this. I only have 3 likes. What's going on here? Okay, what? Oh, this is a good one. This earns, if you click see all, does that let you see
easier,
it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that made me lose the question. I'm sorry, guys. It said, I lost it. What long-term effects do you see COVID-19 have on the real estate market, specifically in loans? You're going to see a lot of changes. In fact, they've already implemented changes in the real estate loan department. They've gotten tighter. So I think it used to be a 580 credit score that you could get a loan with, and now they've bumped it to 640, and that might even go higher. They're being more diligent and more strict to what they look at on your credit backgrounds, your income, your debt to income. So you're going to see a lot of changes right now, and that's how this goes. Look, nobody knows what's going to ultimately happen from this, so everybody's going to be playing the game more safely, including banks. So when they could loan you at 580 because they knew that the job market was good right now and unemployment was low, now not so much. Now they need to know that you're more likely to pay your bills and your job is more secure if they're going to loan you right now, because who knows what happens in 2 to 3 months and if your job is going to be there or not.
True.
All right, now one of your questions. We'll go back and forth if you want to share. If you don't, that's fine too.
Okay.
Hey, your wiggle.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
More questions in the live chat too, guys. We want to converse with you guys, interact. Here we go. I got one. Advice on what to start with on the first real estate purchase to rent out or flip it for a beginner. Size dollar to stay
under. Do you need glasses?
It's pretty small. All right, so what size home and the dollar amount is going to vary on your market. Because if I told you want to stay at 50, let's just say I use an arbitrary number, like don't buy more than a $50,000 house. Well, how are you going to do that if you're in New York? How are you going to do that if you're like in DC or South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, these up and coming markets where you can't find anything for $50,000? You want to buy something well below market for a great deal. Usually off the market is where you're going to find the best deal. But look, you just got to do the math on it. And there's something called like the 70% rule. There's all these rules. Like I'm not going to make all these videos right now. Go to biggerpockets.com to find all these rules. But remember, you have to calculate for your purchase price, your rehab, your holding cost, unless that's going to be in the rehab, and then account for about 3 to 6 months on market. So not just to do the project, but on the market till it sells. Especially right now, you might even want to say 6 months on market. If you can still make a profit after all that, and you use your comps, that's the number you want to buy at. I know that's a little arbitrary, but look, you just got to do the math. There's not a set number or a set size house. It really just depends on the numbers and your margins. You read the next one.
What's the news on SBA loans?
So the news on SBA loans is that they are rushing to put this thing together. I won't touch on this too much because probably a lot of people here are going to be confused by this, but the small business government is going to give out loans to mostly businesses and gig workers. By the way, you can sign up for it for your YouTube. And we need to do that when we get off here because they just changed it. Okay. But gig workers, 1099s, basically giving you loans. The first $10,000 is supposed to be free or a grant. And then after that, you will have to pay that back. And then there's the Paycheck Protection Program that will cover 2.5 times your payroll. And you can use it for other expenses as well. That can also be forgiven as long as you prove that you've used that money for those things. There's a lot better, more in-depth videos from other accountants doing this online. So just search it on YouTube. But it is out there and you should take advantage of it. After all, this is your tax money coming back to you and you should take advantage of it. And you will be paying this back in the future, even if it's free right now. Won't go into that, but I promise you will. So you might as well get it now and use it and help your business right now. And as far as it being implemented and rolled out, it's the government. So have fun. Oh, you got a specific question.
Yes, I did.
Go ahead.
Oh my God, I keep yawning. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not bored, you guys.
Why don't you just get off my live?
I'm not bored. B woke up really early this morning at like 4 because Beamer woke up to have to go to the bathroom outside. And so she woke up because she heard us getting up and then we're all up. And
don't make me look like a useless dad. I did daddy duty all morning yesterday.
Yeah, we just take turns.
Yeah, well, turns. Go ahead.
Rhianna, thank you for the work you are doing. So important. Does the coronavirus I feel like I'm reading in like middle school and you had to read from a book. Does the coronavirus make you feel like you would have gone into nursing if you knew this was coming? Yes, I still would have gone into nursing if I knew this was coming. Kind of because it's not super surprising. Like the situation is surprising, but in nursing we deal with contagious diseases all the time. So we're putting ourselves like in that position a lot. And this is different because it's on such a mass scale, but it's not too much different than what we're already used to, besides the lack of supplies and things. And yeah, I still would have gone into nursing. I am around contagious stuff a lot, and I have been fine till now. So
I like
okay.
Great answers. I think I mean, that wouldn't have changed you doing nursing.
No.
Right. If anything, you would have made you do it even more. She loves to help. So this is like the more the problems, the further she's going to go that way. Okay. So Rhianna, do you think you'll ever want to get more involved with John's work? So real quick on that. So she may not be like hands-on with what I do, but she's a support system for sure. Like, especially when it came to the moving company. And here's a fun fact. She used to go on at the very end when I was like scaling it down, trying to get ready to sell it. She would go on moves with me and actually do the moves, but you almost always went on deliveries with me.
Oh, we did like all the deliveries together.
So when I say deliveries, like let's say Big Lots had a couch they needed to deliver to somebody, and I would charge them like $80 to go pick it up and take it there. Well, I would often try to do these things by myself, but I said, well, if you can go with me, because she was strong, she started working out, she is strong. So it wasn't like she couldn't legitimately help. So she would come with me and help me deliver these things. Now sometimes we get looks like, is that a girl?
Or they'd be like, the guy that was there would try to like take it from me. Remember?
Right.
They would be like, oh no, like she can't carry this.
Right. So anyway, she would go with me, and we would just say, hey, we keep the money in the house. I wouldn't really pay her to do it, but we keep the money. So essentially,
you bought me snacks.
Oh yeah, yeah, we'd go get food or something like that. So she has helped a lot in my businesses, either in the background or hands-on in the past. She's not so much on the real estate side now, but definitely in the background and just as a straight up support system to me, and always has been.
Thank you. I feel like that's like an open question. Do I want to like quit my job and be an entrepreneur? No. Like he said, it's a personality thing, and I don't have that exact personality. Like I like the structure and stuff of my job, and so I enjoy being like, I wouldn't mind being a CRNA that's self-employed, but I feel like that has a more concrete path than just starting a business from scratch. So yeah.
Right,
also, I can carry a mattress up the stairs by myself, in case anybody was wondering.
A twin.
I can carry a queen.
You got good. Here's a good one from Brett Harper, and I feel like he's trying to trap me here. So Brett Harper is actually a financial advisor, so he deals with stocks quite regularly. But he says, what sector of the industry do you think returned the best overall for 2020? Which sector do you think will have the best overall return in 2020? So I'm just going to guess here, and because nobody knows for sure, but I would have to say either oil, unfortunately, or travel. I think travel, if we can get this thing under control in the next 2 to 3 months, I think you will see a travel boom from people who had to cancel their plans, who want to go, like us. And just because it's around that time of the year when people start traveling more, the fall break and the winter breaks. So I think that.
What do you think about like the healthcare industry?
I mean, what do you mean it isn't really collapsed?
Oh.
There she goes, talking about. See, you swerved in my lane. So I would say that oil and travel would probably be your two biggest rebounds if they're able to get this under the control in the next 2 to 3 months. I mean, if you look at something like Carnival Cruise Lines, we're not a huge fan of cruises, but it's down to like $8 a share. I mean, that's crazy. They may not make it. I mean, it's just a fact. But then you got all the airlines that are down like 50, 70, 80% off their highs from just like 3, 4, 5 months ago. So I think that will see a huge return. And yes, we're invested in some of those stocks, the ones we believe in.
We missed a question.
Okay.
What are some of your life goals?
I
feel like a lot of our life goals are kind of vague. Like,
yeah, I don't say we're vague. We do have our goals, but
because we don't know where we want to end up and stuff.
Right. And I would say that we're fortunate enough to met a lot of our goals early.
Yeah, like CRNA was a big, huge goal for me.
Right.
And I'll
financial freedom. You know, these were goals that we had set 10 years ago, though. So it's not like we just set them last year. So I think a goal for us is to continue being able to spend our time the way we want to spend it, and not being dictated. I mean, you will have a job and they will tell you when to work, but you will be able to choose whether you want to work or not.
Yeah.
So those are huge goals for us. And just now it looks like it's going to be to be, can we say anything?
Oh, yeah.
To be like incredible parents.
Yeah, that was one of the questions we didn't do yet. Was a lot of people asked me if any updates about B.
So yeah, so an update there is it looks like she will come for. It's today.
Is it?
It was yesterday.
Oh yeah, well.
So yeah,
it's because the weekend, so it doesn't really count on Monday, I guess. But
so yesterday she is available for adoption. But with everything going on right now, that's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
So yes, we are interested in adopting. It's not ultimately up to us, but we're going to throw our hat in the ring, and so we'll see what comes from that. There'll be more videos to come on that. So we won't go down that route right now.
Yes. All the courts here and stuff are closed. Yeah. So.
Let's see here. What changes are you noticing in the real estate market due to the virus? So a huge change that we've saw, other than the mortgage lending changing, but one of the huge changes is that auctions and foreclosures have been stopped. So we get a lot of our properties from that source. So our inventory is going to get lower for a while, and we understand that. We're just going to have to adapt or die, and that's like every company right now. So we're just going to look for alternative means to finding our properties to flip and invest in. But for right now, the bank's not allowed to file foreclosures, and the foreclosures that were already coming down the pipeline have been paused because nobody wants to be at the courthouses and auction those off. So for the time being, we're going to have to find alternate means to find investment properties. And we do see that people will probably slow down buying. Although in the last week and a half alone, 3 or 4 of our houses have went into contract, including 2 of our own investments. So
yeah, we were pretty surprised about that.
We'll take it.
Oh, can I ask one?
Yeah.
Are you going to do more vegan what I eat in a day videos? Are you vegan still?
Oh.
Yes. Okay.
We're not going down this road.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, we're definitely going to do more. I'm definitely going to do, because I do them on my channel, at Rhianna Ferial. You can follow me.
30 people just signed up.
We are still going to do vegan what I eat in a day videos. We did like family what I eat in a day videos. B is vegan with us, and yeah. Yes,
we are vegan. It's a belief of ours. It's not going to change, and we will continue doing it. Now, nobody get crazy here. Okay, let's go to the next one. Next one is Michelle X John. I haven't been saying names, but the last one was from, it's hard to say these. The last one was from Ernst Sahik, I think, on Instagram. This one's,
let me see.
I think I got that close.
Yeah.
Next one's from Michelle. I think it's Michelle and John. How do you handle finances together? Joint accounts are separate. We keep them separate, and I give her a little bit of amount every month to spend. She goes over that. She doesn't.
Sounds like, what are you talking about?
If she goes over that amount, she doesn't get any for the following 3 months. No, we have separate accounts for strategic reasons, and we have access. We each know each other's accounts, but we do have separate accounts for our businesses and for personal and for other strategic reasons with the banks.
Yeah, we're just like, we do our budget together every month and everything, so for our whole household. So we don't really need a joint account. It's easier to have them separate since we're basically just communicating everything anyway.
Yeah. Guys, keep asking your questions in here. We love to answer them in the live chat. We're going to keep doing Instagram as well, though.
Okay. Are you going or am I?
Yeah, well, I'll just, somebody asked, when you graduate, will we stay here? But we kind of already answered that. And then how does that work with the foster daughter? And basically, that, I think we've kind of answered that.
We think we're going to be here.
Katie Rose. We think we're going to be here, and whatever she needs or the system needs for us to do for her is what we'll do.
Yeah, like I wanted to go on a travel assignment right now because, as you know, our class in clinical was canceled. I mean, you might not know that. If you follow me, you know that. So I graduated May 2nd, but we're not really going to have anything until then. So I wanted to go do a travel nursing assignment, but we can't go because we're not allowed to like take her out of state for that long amount of time. So we're just doing what we need to do to make things fine with her. And it seems like we're probably gonna have to stay here for a while after I graduate because of everything being delayed with adoption and stuff.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons to actually stay. You know, I have partners and responsibilities, and it's just a lot to just pick up and leave. Is it possible? Yes. but it doesn't look like that.
And the hospital system here that I would work at if we stayed is a really great place to start out for me as a CRNA because it's a level 1 trauma center. The CRNAs do all the intubations around the hospital. They go to all the codes as well as working the OR and things. So there's just like a ton of opportunity for me to get skills. We do like all kinds of procedures here, and I feel like it would just be a good place to start because, can I lead that to my next question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Our next question.
It's your channel. You go for it.
Because then somebody asked, are we still going to do like travel nursing? So our plan was, yes, to do travel nursing when I'm a CRNA. And we were talking about this the other day, actually, since B won't start kindergarten until she's 5. We can't tell you exactly how old she is right now, but we will tell you when we're allowed to. But and by the time we get everything settled out here and I get my experience in the hospital, we'll have like a few years that we can go travel nursing and that she doesn't need to be in school. So.
Absolutely, I agree.
And John would love to homeschool because he loves teaching like math and stuff. So
you do not want me
homeschooling.
Kidding. Okay, this is actually going to be, so on my Instagram, I said if someone asks a question early on my Instagram, I give them $10 if they also tune into the live chat. I don't know if they're here or not. So if you are, just message me on Instagram and say you saw that I answered your question, and I'll send you the $10. It's from Ali Riaz, and I think this is a great question. One beginner investing mistake that you made, and how do you overcome it? I want everybody to hear this. It wasn't so much a mistake I made. It's something I didn't do, and that's getting investing sooner. Oh man, if I could tell you guys how much money we potentially lost, didn't lose because we didn't. Well, and we did lose it. I can say we did lose
theoretically.
It. Theoretically, we lost a lot of money. It would make most of you, including us, sick by not starting to invest earlier when we were about 20. I didn't start researching the stuff and get better at. The baby just woke up, so let me answer this while she's checking on her. I didn't start researching and understanding Ross and traditional and retirement. Nobody taught this to me. School didn't teach it to me. I didn't have any guidance. But if I would have started investing about 6 years earlier, and in fact, that's when I started my business and had the money to invest. And it was right during the 2008-2009 crash. Those stocks were super cheap. It would have been good for us. It would have been very good for us. So please learn and start. I don't care if you learn from me. I don't care if you get guidance from somebody else. But please learn about retirement investing in general, saving your money, and setting yourself up for retirement as soon as possible, and then start contributing. And I don't care if that's just $100 a month or $5,000 a month. Whatever you can do, start investing now because it compounds. I know $100 a month doesn't sound like a lot, but if you do that every single month for 10, 15, 20 years, it becomes a lot. So please just start investing as soon as possible and become knowledgeable about it. And that's what I'm trying to provide for you guys so that you guys don't have to learn from my humongous mistake there on not investing sooner. Uh-oh. Is she covered? Okay. So the baby's awake. So we'll just answer a few more questions here. We've already been on here for about 40 minutes. Let's see if we got any more other ones. Someone said, "Hi, Rhianna, can you do a handstand?"
I sure can.
Yeah, she can do a handstand. She can walk on her hands for a little while. What was your first move investing in real estate? So our first move investing in real estate was a house that we purchased. For about $115,000. I don't have the numbers in front of me. It was a rancher. And we just jumped into it. This is when I joined up with my partners. We bought it for about $115,000. I believe we sold that one for $160,000 or something like that. so many noises.
Okay, there. I can stay right here, and she can stay right here.
Okay.
She's trying to stand up, and her face is going to go into the camera.
So that was our first real estate investment. How do you guys feel about renting versus buying a house? Oh boy.
We like renting, right?
What?
We like renting.
So yeah, I mean, we've never bought a house, but we do that for strategic reasons. And look, actually go back to my YouTube, like 4 or 5 channels, and I did rent versus buy. I did the video on this because it's specific to your scenario. So you have to be extremely knowledgeable in both aspects of this and figure out which strategy works best for you when doing this.
She's laughing.
Hey, baby.
She thinks it's so funny that I'm covering her head.
So let's see here. All right, I'm going to answer one more question off my Instagram, and then if you guys have any closing questions, ask them really quick, and we'll get them answered.
Just so you guys know, her face is not covered, she can breathe, because I know that sometimes people get a little.
Babe, I'm sure they know we're not smothering the baby.
Well, you don't know the comments I get from people
Oh,
on the
yeah.
internet.
Hey, baby.
Can you say bubble? Say bubble. Yeah.
All right, here, this one from Emily Ray. How can I successfully invest in my retirement? What should I do in my 20s? Start investing. Like, that's it. Like, you just have to start. And again, I don't care if you have $50 to invest or $1,000 extra to invest, just start investing. After, please listen, after your bad debts are gone, that's any type of consumer debt, credit cards, vehicles, really, anything above about 5% interest, pay it off outside of your house. House can be debated whether it's good or bad debt, but if you've already bought your house, it's going to be hard to just pay that off next week. But start paying off all your bad debt first, build your emergency fund, and then start investing. Here, I got another question. Do you see a future entrepreneur startup with your CRNA degree and own your own business?
She's playing now. Me? Do you see?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, we have tons of ideas about this, and like, I don't know, like, what do you think? Because, okay, so we go back and forth about it because we have so many opportunities through John that are not anesthesia based, and I really love working in the hospital setting. So I have all these ideas for entrepreneurship besides my like YouTube and social media, which is a form of entrepreneurship. Like, I have ideas for clinics and things like that I'm passionate about, but I'm not really sure if I want to get that tied down to something like that when I can work at the hospital and still have a really good work-life balance.
Yeah, maybe. We actually saw that with their travel nursing as well, starting a travel nursing agency. So that's my thoughts, because I'm always looking at ways that she could turn a business into what she does. But it's something that I'm not going to force on her, obviously. We'd have to discuss it and see if it's a possibility. Real quick, I missed a question. Ashley Smith asked a resource for investing. Stocks and real estate. So for real estate, biggerpockets.com, and for stocks, try boggleheads.com. It's actually it's a forum that I'm not sure if Jim Bogle started it or not, and he's actually the one that came up with Vanguard. So that's a great resource to go there. And they also recommend the simple portfolio, the 3-fund portfolio, and stuff like that. A great resource for learning there. All right, so the next one. Let's see here. I'm a nursing student and would like to do travel nursing, but I'm unfamiliar with the process. Would you say it's unrealistic for parents?
Okay, I would say it's very realistic for parents as long as there's a good support system in place, or if like, okay, so it's not unrealistic for single parents, but you'd have to like figure out daycare, or if you're going to use a babysitter before you go to the place. So you'd have to use like a lot of online resources probably to figure that out, which there is like websites with nannies and stuff that they run them through a background check and all that. So you could very well do that. If there's 2 parents traveling, or a parent and like a sibling or the grandparents coming with you or something, it would be super easy, because as a nurse, you could just work your 3 12-hour shifts and then you're off the other 4 days that week. So absolutely. I think it's very realistic. I had a friend who, actually my preceptor in the STICU, him and his wife went travel nursing. I think she was a social worker. They had 2 little kids. When they went travel nursing, she actually stopped doing social work. He kept nursing, and she homeschooled their kids.
Yeah, I think it'd definitely be possible. Like with anything else, like once you implement more things in your life, you have to come up with more strategies to solve those things, and that's what we're doing. I mean, did we intend on even fostering 3-4 years ago? No. Maybe, I think we probably was like, that'd be nice.
Oh, I thought you meant adopting.
No, fostering.
Yeah,
but even fostering,
we always wanted to foster.
But yeah, I don't think we ever like how soon or when we were.
Yeah, no.
Right. So then that happened, and now adoption was not on the table. Kids in my life, and actually we've had this discussion. Yeah. When we first met, yes, got a little bit older, we said no, definitely no, and we still wouldn't probably reproduce. But
you're so technical. I know, we are completely on the same page. We totally agree with each other.
But look at us now. So things change. So real quick, I gotta say hi. I gotta say hi to Q in Montreal's in here. So what's up, guys? And then real quick, Q had a question. DK had a question. Do you have multiple sources of income? Yes. Too many sources of income, and I don't mean that in a braggy way. I mean that we have too much going on. Mm-hmm. So a big goal of for this year is to minimize how much I have on my plate. In fact, I just backed out of one of my businesses last week. More to come on that. But I just kept saying yes, and it's not my style. It's not my personality. It's not even actually what I believe in when it comes to businesses. I believe that it's fine to have multiple businesses, but you need to really focus on what matters most and which ones are giving you your 80%. It's called the 80-20 rule. Read about it. But really, you just need to sometimes focus. And if you got 30 things to work on, it's like balancing a bunch of plates at one time. Something's going to eventually fall. And so I want to narrow down my focus, back out of some things that I have going on, as well as re-strategize them and my involvement in them going forward. And that's a big goal of mine for the year. Have you ever utilized an FHA insured loan when buying a property? So again, Rhianna and I have never purchased a property. For the time being, we're fortunate enough to buy all of our investments with cash, and that's what we will continue doing. We will eventually start leveraging bank money in the future. I've said that for years now, but well, at least for a year now, and we still have not done it. I still don't even want to refinance the rental units we have, just because I enjoy the cash flow and I hate debt. I just hate debt, good or bad debt. I hate debt. And I know, like if you're on here and you're an investor, you're like, well, you need to learn how to leverage good debt. Look, I get it. I understand it. I teach it. It's so nice that we don't owe anybody anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just a huge weight off our shoulders to be like, we can up and leave. We can leave this live chat right now, go wherever. Well, no, we can't. We're quarantined. But if we weren't quarantined, we can go wherever. And we don't owe anybody anything, and it's not a big deal to us. So that's something we don't really want to give up. Remember, money is not everything. Freedom is what you're ultimately after if you really ask yourself why you want the money. And we have a lot of that freedom now. We want more, and we do want to have more money, I guess.
We call it freedom, so like we do,
Yeah. What Ty Lopez, oh boy, I'm going to bring him up, but he did say one thing I like. Yeah. He called money freedom units instead of dollars. He called them units of freedom. And I actually did like that one thing that he said.
That one thing. Do you have any books?
Yeah, I got a lot of books.
Show me your books.
Yeah, right. I wonder if these people know who Ty Lopez is. This feeling being dead for
Okay,
years.
yes. Let's answer this question because I get tons.
Still reproducing.
Okay, I got a lot of questions that asked if we're going to have biological children. We literally get asked this all the time. All the time. Even by like people I work with. Like people just, I don't get offended easily, so I don't care that people ask me this, but people will just out of nowhere ask me, are you guys not going to have your own children? And it's a complicated question, but no, we're not ever going to have biological children, but our adopted children will be our own children.
I guess we'll go too far into it, but it's just our beliefs, right? It's just our beliefs and what works for us and what we believe in. And so no, we will not reproduce.
It's like there's no reason that we know of that we can't, because people often ask that.
Like medical?
Can you not have kids? We just feel like with our like life experiences, there's so many kids without homes that why do we need to have our own? We could love our children that are not biological just as much. So that's nothing against people who decide to have biological children. This is like a very complicated subject, so it's completely your decision.
It's personal beliefs, and it's because he just said, or whomever Sasha just said, sorry, she just said, I didn't mean any harm.
No, I didn't take it that way at all.
No harm by the question. It's a touchy subject for most, and I think that when we say our beliefs in it, that people think that we think they're bad for believing different, and that's not the case. Even for like veganism, that's a huge thing for us. So I'm not going to go too far into this, but what she just said, there's over 400,000 kids without a home right now.
Just in the U.S.
Just in the U.S. alone that do not have a home. And most people say that our children are their most important thing, but yet 400,000 kids don't have a home, yet we continue to reproduce. So we're saying let's create something new when this one doesn't have a home. And that's our beliefs and what we believe in. So please understand that that's what we're saying, and we're not judging anybody for having your own kids. A lot of our friends have their own kids.
Yes, and we love their kids, and we love our friends and everything. So.
Okay, let's see.
And you didn't. The question didn't bother us at all.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're hoping not to bother you with our answer.
Yeah.
that's the thing there. It's been great to see you guys live. It's 2:15 a.m. in Australia. Wow, thanks for staying up and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it.
Good night.
Yeah, you have great hearts. Thank you so much, Ashley. DK, awesome. I'm 18. Can you tell me if you know anything you wish you knew when you were 18 about anything, everything.
Yeah.
Look, DK, I'm gonna do you a favor. Message me directly on Instagram, and I'll set up a consulting call with you, and I'll give you information in 20. I don't know everything, right? If you're 18, I can give you enough information in 20 or 30 minutes to give you to think about for months to come.
My number, I just want to add one thing, because I think like it's something that can help everybody. When I was younger, I wish I knew that like you need to focus on yourself, and what other people are doing doesn't matter.
Oh,
and you just need to focus on yourself, and
I have that problem. I have that problem now.
Yeah.
So yeah, just absolutely. Take feedback, take criticism, that's fine. Constructive, and then be constructive with it. But don't let somebody just say something to you and let that determine how you're going to do your life. Do you use a regular savings account for the money you use to pay cash for homes investments, or do you pull that money from investments, or do you leave it in a checking account? So great question. So this is going to sound stupid, but we leave most of our money in checking accounts for our investing because we're using it so quickly. All of our retirement money is obviously in retirement accounts, but all of our savings is in, we do have our emergency fund, but all of the money that we have cash available is in our checking for quick access. And honestly, I just don't like filing the paperwork every year for the savings for the small amount of interest that I make from sitting in a savings account, because you get 1099 by the bank for that money, and that's another thing you have to file. I'd rather not. It's not worth my time. The 0.0003% money they give you, interest they give you on that money. So that answers that, guys.
I'm here still, guys.
And she's in the back.
We're having a snack with banana.
So guys, thank you guys so much. Again, if you could hit that like button so the algorithm pushes this out to more people that can see this, and I hope it helps other people from a couple's perspective. We're talking about financing and investing. I know we got into our personal life a little bit there too, because people like to hear that stuff as well. But yeah, we're just hanging out this quarantine. We're going to be putting out more videos. Rhianna put out her video this morning on our budget, so make sure you go check that out on her channel at Rhianna Ferial. And I think that's going to be it. I'll give another 30 seconds here. Any last question? Q, what were your biggest money mistakes as a couple? I don't think we really had any. I've made, because I'm I guess in charge of our finance. I'm not in charge. What? Oh yeah, she just told it. Cryptocurrency. But I warned everybody. I said this is a gamble that we're going to take, and we normally don't take gambles. But the FOMO got to us on that one. But we set aside an amount of money that it wouldn't matter. I told everybody, don't invest more than I think 1 or 5% of your net worth or your savings or all the income that you have into it. And so we did put some money in there. It is down about 80%, but it's money that I'm mad if I lose $10, but ultimately I don't care. It's not money that we needed. And if it comes back and bounces higher and crypto ends up working out, great. But if not, no harm, no foul to us. It did not change our lifestyle in any way, shape, or form. So if you're going to invest in crypto, do it with an amount of money that does not matter to you now and will not matter to you in 5, 10, 15 years from now.
She wants to see the screen.
Yeah, I know. So I think someone said LMAO probably about us losing money in crypto. Yeah. Did anyone have any pressure to jump?
We went down the crypto rabbit hole. I researched crypto like every night when I was done studying for hours and hours.
I knew that I want to say I knew that was a bad investment. I knew that it was a gamble.
Was it my?
You probably put more. You probably put a little bit more pressure on us than I would have. But again, use an amount of money that doesn't matter. Did anyone have to pressure anyone to jump on the Frugality financial freedom train? I implemented it. She was a little reluctant, but learned and was more malleable than most. And when she started seeing the results, it was easier. Guys, the results will speak for themselves. When you can all of a sudden start paying cash for your trips, and you can start paying cash for whatever you want, things change for you. And you'll go, oh, this is worth it. I may have to do without the Jordans and the makeup and the movies and the eating out and all that stuff for 6 to 8 months. But now look at us. We can eat out no problem. If something happens to our car, we can fix it no problem. So look, give it time and it will work. Guys, I'm going to close out because I think I've tried to close it out like 10 times by now. We really appreciate you all tuning in. Again, if the guy on here that answered your question for the $10 message me on Instagram, I'll send you that because I keep my word. And if you guys want to see us go live again, just message us and we'll do this again, maybe during the quarantine.
Yes. Thank you, guys. We answered that a little while ago. Will you keep the little one?
Yeah, so look back through this, and then how much was it to start up the CrossFit gym? It was about $27,000, and yes, it is profitable. Thank you both for having us on. That's it, guys. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and I will see you. Oh, thanks, babe. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.